Yo, 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 what's up? How's it going? Oh, I gotta turn on the desktop audio, don't I? Okay. Oh, and then you gotta hear the game. And then we gotta see if the game is too loud. Now we gotta see if this runs fine or not, because I haven't tested any of this. Ha ha ha! Where am I going? I have no idea where I'm going. Oh. Oh, I forgot to say, I also have the 60 frames cutscene thing installed as well.
Oh no. Good was it? Perhaps you can help.
So yeah, cutscenes aren't at
Sid asked me
30
to make ready for
anymore,
our mission.
which is nice. So anyway, yeah, the PC version Final Fantasy 16. It's still like, I mean, I'm just chalking up to my rig is not great anymore, and I'm streaming. Like, but even when I wasn't streaming, it's like not running at 60. It's running better than 30, but it's definitely not running at 60 for me, which is a bummer.
Blackthorn.
Means it's time to get a new rig, right?
Do you want that?
So if you don't understand what the hell Op Buster Sword is, okay. I've platinumed this game in the DLCs on PlayStation. So I'm not truly replaying through this damn game again from scratch. I mean, I am, but I'm also like not. Oh, we gotta craft this. Forgot. Yes. I don't know if it's better than what I have. We'll find out. Anyway, this is what it is. So let me go to the equipment menu and show you what the hell this is. So look at the stats. So yes, it's a little broken. Just a little broken. Yeah, this thing, you will wreck shit now. So yeah, it makes life way easier, huh? Oh yeah, we need magic burst. We didn't get this. Oh, is this enhanced? Oh, it's learned. I forgot it's learned. Charge magic. I don't need any of this stuff. I don't need any of that. Nope. Don't need that. Really won't need that. I think we'll try and upgrade this. But anyway, yes, you can wreck shit.
Well, what's saying for you, dear? Anything else?
Oh wait, can I wreck? I could do that,
I
right?
see I'm busy here. What do you want? And how am I meant to do that then?
I need the broadsword.
Bring me the materials, and I'll think about it.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
Not that I need your dumb sword. I don't need it. I got a better sword. So anyway,
The gift worked.
this week, yeah, we had some Final Fantasy headlines this week, and a back and forth war over, between RPG and Final Fantasy fans over whether 16 did well or not. Has come to a head again because we now have like an official Square Enix report, their own reporting, saying that both 16 and Rebirth did not meet sales expectations. So that is the most updated word from Square Enix, not anyone else, that they didn't hit, basically didn't hit their sales targets. And this has spurred a discussion. There's been some pretty good articles. There's a great article on the GameIndustry.biz. Sorry, let me look up where it was. Sorry. There's a very good article. Let me give the credit where credit is due here. Sorry, here we go. It is on GameIndustry.biz, and let me link this for you. It is by, why didn't they ever put their byline? Okay, by Rob Fahey. So here you go. But I mean, they're not like the only one who's been talking about this. And it got me interested, it got me like thinking about. So they're calling out Final Fantasy is a series for each entry is unique, that the director can do whatever they want, creative freedom with Final Fantasy. And for a long time, this was touted as like a huge strength and selling point for Final Fantasy. I've even said it's like, if you don't like an upcoming Final Fantasy, don't worry. The next one will be different. Like, I'll have something different. So like, this is, this is a strength of it. But from a business standpoint and sales standpoint, people are starting to make the argument that this is not good. A lot of the most successful series, the ones that are still standing and selling well, even from Final Fantasy's time, decades ago, don't do what Final Fantasy does. They do not deviate radically from a gameplay formula. You know what you're getting into. And the argument being made is that, Final Fantasy 16 is meant to be newcomer friendly. It's supposed to get people into Final Fantasy. So you jump into Final Fantasy 16, you have a great time. They announced Final Fantasy 17. It's not like Final Fantasy 16 at all. Aren't those people just going to bounce? So you're not cultivating that audience you just brought in, and you're like alienating people left and right. And so while I think I'm guilty of missing the point here, who gives a shit about the argument between turn-based and not turn-based? Like, I thought it was getting ridiculous and stupid. I was like, man, like, people need to like just shut up about this argument. Like, who cares? Like, there are other turn-based games. It's not over the preference. It's over the point that Final Fantasy won't pick one. It won't stick with one. And it hasn't been turn-based since 13. 14 is not turn-based, 15 is not turn-based, 16 is not turn-based. It went into a more active direction, but that's pretty recent. And honestly, 15 still has semblance of there is a turn-based or option or whatever that lets you each character take a turn doing their actions. But Remake and Rebirth aren't turn-based, but they're more of like an evolution of turn-based and not like full action. So like, but it's also not a brand new game. It's a remake, but it's not a brand new entry as in like a numbered entry. People see it as a reimagining of an existing game. It's not Final Fantasy 17. So what if Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth's gameplay systems had just been put into a brand new game called Final Fantasy 17? I think that might, anyway, that's a what if. The point is, Final Fantasy, you don't know what you're getting out of Final Fantasy anymore, is what's being argued. And that going forward, Square Enix needs to pick a direction for the series and stick to it. And they're arguing series like, if you get Grand Theft Auto, you know what you're getting with Grand Theft Auto. You're getting an open world game where it's sandbox with heavy story emphasis and missions. You play Persona from 3 onward, you know what the hell you're getting. You're getting a social sim RPG with, focus on high school setting and dungeon crawling. And turn-based battles, and it's been that way. So you could expect Persona 6 to be like that. Mario, you're getting 3D platformer or 2D platform. Even Zelda, even as radical as Breath of the Wild is, it's still kind of delivering a lot of like what Zelda, like the tenets of Zelda. So like you still know what you're getting to. And honestly, to be fair, with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they just kind of continue more of the same. Like, you weren't shocked by Tears of the Kingdom. Like, oh, God, like, this is so drastically different. Is Zelda just going to be different all the time? No. And then, like, the traditional Zelda ones they keep making look like Zelda games. Like, Zelda has never tried to change from being, like, essentially what it is, other than adding an open world nature to it. And that feels more like an evolution than a radical, like, changing of everything. Like, there's still you still can tell Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are Zelda games or have Zelda elements in them and feel strongly like a Zelda game. And so you don't see these big series that are very successful. I was going to point out, no, but we don't need to keep pointing out examples. Yeah, the consumer. So this is strictly from a business standpoint, about not scaring off consumers, retaining consumers, building a consumer base and nurturing them, and playing into a bit of their basic expectations. I think you're allowed to have basic expectations going into an upcoming sequel. Now, like, you could call, like me, like we just talked about in the last episode of Solo Queue, having like timeline expectations of Zelda game is a bit crazy. but like expecting dungeons, items that help you solve puzzles in general, like exploration, shrines, like, and not Echoes of Wisdom, but the next like Breath of the Wild style Zelda, these crafting, gathering, like that stuff's gonna durability. I mean, maybe they'll get rid of that, but like those are more reasonable expectations. I don't get it. Sony would pay them handsomely to make time exclusive for 16 in Rebirth. How do they keep losing so much money? I don't think they got paid enough. I mean, we don't know that. Like, there's a lot of unknowns, though, is the problem. We don't know how much Sony paid them. We don't know how much this would have sold, like Rebirth or 16, if it was multi-plat day one. Not. I mean, it's coming. They're coming to PC, but like, it's almost. They're both going to be like a year or more after. Same with like Intergrade Remake. It's not the same thing. If Remake had been on everything day one, if Rebirth had been everything day one, it's 16 been on everything day one. So like Xbox, Sony, PlayStation, PC, at least those three, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox day one. You know, that would have, you know, what would have that been like? And would that have been enough? I don't know. Like, it might not have been. Like, that's the problem. We still have people in this argument, this debate, who will still say that platforms, like we should like treat this by a process of elimination, or Square Enix should treat it like a process of elimination. Put these games on all the platforms. Like, let's see if that fixes things. And like, if sales go up, then like, okay, then the identity crisis being argued is more of just like a fan thing that like there's people in the fandom are just divided over like the direction the series should take, and it's ultimately not impacting sales. But because sales aren't, you know, by Square Enix's own admission, great, this is further ammunition that, oh, this identity crisis is holding back Final Fantasy, and they need to do something about it. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the other thing you could say is like people are also discussing that, do they need to? You talk about money and how much these cost. Do these games need to be so cutting edge anymore? Could they have made a version of, like, if Final Fantasy 16 from the ground up was developed to be able to run on like Switch and look nice on Switch, and then look like a little bit better on like PS5, like on other platforms, like it was on every platform, but it could run very nicely on Switch, like 30 frames on Switch, like 720/30 on Switch. Let's just say that it was targeted for that because it used a different graphic, different, you know, went in a different direction of the art, you know, different art direction, so different assets, like lower technical level of you know, requirement needed for the visuals, for the graphics, and so it wouldn't be as taxing and as demanding to make. So cost-wise, it would have been a little bit cheaper. So think of like Xenoblade. What if it looked more like Xenoblade, visual style, but like didn't play anything like Xenoblade? It played like 16. And it's like, oh shit, like it's a little more like anime looking, like Tales of looking. Like the older Tales of, not like Arise, the newest one. Maybe like Arise, it could look like that. Who knows? But like something that could run on Switch and been on everything. So cost less and is on everything, including the best-selling platform of this generation. Like, would that have sold that? And yeah, they like Dragon Quest. I expect Dragon Quest 3 HD to like blow sales numbers out of the water. Because it's gonna be on, because it's on Switch and other platforms, but it's on Switch. That thing is gonna outsell Rebirth. It's gonna outsell 16, absolutely. Even though Dragon Quest finally got like, you know, like an injection with like 11, but people still view it as not as big in the West. I think because it's on Switch and in multiple platforms, watch it will sell very well, because I think this one is very hyped. I think it's very, very hyped. Yeah. And I think that will do wonders for 12. And if 12, this is allowed. If 12 is also optimized to run on Switch as well as other platforms, or Switch 2, yeah. So anyway, the point of all this is, you know, is it a platform problem? And would that have solved it? And then if not, then the identity crisis part of the equation comes into play. And there are going to be people who say, why not both? Like, why risk it? Like, if you could, like right now, if you're in charge of Final Fantasy 17, Why not say we're developing the lead platform for Final Fantasy 17 is going to be Switch 2? If they have Switch 2 kits, it's like this is being developed for Switch 2 first and foremost and will be ported to all other platforms. And let's just say if that's true, and let's just ballpark it, that means there could be a version on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch 2, obviously, and PC. And now you have it like on all those platforms. I bet Final Fantasy 17 would easily sell more than anything since 15. Yeah. Like it would probably hit its sales expectations. But if they also chose a direction and said like going forward, Final Fantasy is going to be like this, then I think like they start pushing that ceiling higher and higher. Like I do think like the platforms will get them back to like a good amount of sales again if they can be on all platforms day one. But I think I do think they should long term be thinking about, I don't think they can ignore this problem about people complaining about Final Fantasy like not picking a direction and sticking with it. And like I'll be honest, like I love Final Fantasy 16. This game's amazing to me. I love it. But like it has elements that feel like Final Fantasy, but this could like you could have made this called something else like from Square Enix. I would have believed it's not a Final Fantasy game. Like I'll be honest. Like this could have been this could have been Stranger of Paradise.
Otto said you could provide.
They could have called this like Final Fantasy Mythos or something, Stranger in Paradise or whatever. Oh gosh, items. I'm waiting for the mods that let me like skip all this so I can just like there's like almost no mods available right now. So that's the thing. So the combat's like these are the questions that become, and this is where I think like there's a divide, and which one you think is going to do better? Would a combat system like this, like 16's, be the way of the future for the series? Naoki Yoshida argued, the director of this, producer of this game, not director, producer of Final Fantasy 16. No, I don't want to see this. Can I not back out? Oh, I have to do this? God damn it. You really have to enter this? I don't remember having to enter this. Can I just exit? End training, there we go. Naoki Yoshida said that Final Fantasy 16's combat system was picked because they thought it would appeal to younger audiences, and they felt Final Fantasy fans were getting older, so that they needed to bring in newer fans, younger fans, because the target demographic for Final Fantasy is aging up. Like on the, obviously it can be fans of all ages, but I'd say like the core audience of Final Fantasy is probably very late 20s, early 30s on the low end to like 50s now. You're in your 30s to like late 50s probably. It's like the core Final Fantasy fan, I would argue. So I know there are fans that fall outside that range, but I feel like they need to bring in new people. And so that was the argument for this type of battle system. But then what about remake and rebirth battle system? If I'm going to be honest, as much as I like 16's battle system, like this type of real-time action, I would personally, it's like you have three options to pick going forward for Final Fantasy 17 and beyond. Final Fantasy 16's combat, remake rebirth's combat, or a version of turn-based from the past, or a newer version of turn-based. I would pick remake rebirth's combat system.
I don't see why not.
And obviously, maybe you can like modify it a little bit more and make some refinements and changes to it. But like, I definitely would pick that. And I think,
how long has it been?
Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that like Rebirth sales numbers are being conflated into this argument about 16. Because I get it, Rebirth was hyped and everything, but the problem is these two games are exclusive on a platform that was hard to get initially. It has a lower install base than the previous, iteration when they came out. So like Remake came out on PlayStation 4 when it was near the end, when it was massive. Like PS4 was everywhere, and it only came out on PS4 initially, and sold well. I do think it was still hamstrung by not being everywhere on more platforms, but there were a lot of things holding back these sales as well. Not, yeah. So being exclusive on a system like PS5 definitely, I think, held it back. But quality-wise, I think 16 is way more divisive. 16 is the more divisive entry. But Rebirth, I kind of am, other than you're not happy with the fact it's not a one-to-one recreation and just one game, a one-game remake of the original, what they're doing in Rebirth is like, I was like, man, this is the blueprint for going forward for Final Fantasy. Obviously, they need to tune some things in there going forward, but the structure is like, this is great. They just need build upon this. Just build upon this. No, I think some of the like the towers, like the more remedial open world quest stuff, they can cut that shit out. But some of the like a lot of the extras were great though. Like the Fort Condor, the Proto Relic quest line, like a through line that gives you more story about each region, stuff like that. They do more of that. Not just like, I activated a tower, here are some points of interest. Like, you don't need that. Let players explore and find that on their own. You're already cutting back on the reduced exploration you already have. Just, you don't need that stuff. You do not need towers. You don't need the old school open world elements. You just do, the stuff that people were enjoying about Rebirth with its open world. I mean, sure, to reduce the number, like one per region or something. I don't know. Like that was Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Just one per region then instead of multiple. I guess I felt like there was just too much, maybe. I mean, it sounds like it was fine to some of you, but there were a decent amount of people who were like, I don't need this in here. There's already so much to do. Why is this also on top of everything else?
Yours is not a familiar face.
I like, because it built up the intel on the region. I think that should be, if they want to do that again, handle that a different way.
Till next we meet.
It's Tomes.
And how might
Is this your favorite person?
I have a few new notes that might interest you.
Huh.
What subject shall we consider today?
I don't need this. I mean, yeah, like they just need to clean up the traversal in the open world in Rebirth.
I presume. Splendid.
It was like a little stiff here and there.
Speaking of,
I definitely think they could clean that up and make that more enjoyable. I think honestly that's where fidelity can give way to fidelity can give way to being more gamified. For example, look at Xenoblade and how you cross worlds in that. It's fun, but it looks goofy at times because you're allowed to do goofy shit. But that's fun. Let people do things that are fun. Let me go off a giant mountain on the chocobo and fall down and almost die. Yeah.
The Ironblood were quick to sound the retreat once Titan turned up.
I mean, the hunt system here, I mean, they had the marks in Rebirth as well, but I mean, doing a hunt board and the Monster Rancher stuff in 10 or Beastmaster type thing, that should that's Final Fantasy, man. That should be a staple big side quest in every Final Fantasy game. The Beastmaster quest line, where it's hunt marks, go track them down, capture them. You can defeat them, but you also capture them and stuff. It's more difficult to capture them, and then you gotta track them in the open world and stuff. It's like Monster Hunter type stuff. I mean, I'm surprised they kind of haven't gone back to that. They have the hunts in this, but why does it take so long and feel so stiff to open chest and sit on a save point in FF? Yeah, that's them trying to do immersion. That's them trying to do immersion, and I think it's off-putting. When you like take your sweet ass time to like sit down on something, and it's like, all right, but because it's a function. I'm not like in 14 when you type /sit on a place, you do a slow sit animation, but that's because like you're RPing. It's not required to do it almost at any time in the game to do an emote. There's a few times, but most of the time it's not. Whereas in 7 Remake and Rebirth, you gotta sit at the save point, and then in Rebirth you gotta put down the little thing if you want. Like I was like, okay, this is getting tedious. Can we just like skip some of this? Oh, we're saying like what to cut out, yeah. But I mean, backing up, the point is, what direction should they take? Because there's different paths. There's definitely a vocal group that wants the return of turn-based. There are people who like think 16 and real-time combat like this real-time action system should be the future as well. And there's people like me who would say, honestly, Rebirth Remake's battle system is my perfect in-between because it offers an incredible amount of depth and strategy to the point I got angry at it. Like the fact that the hardest challenges in Rebirth require you to like have really custom materia and loadout sets for those ultimate challenges. It's like, good God, like this is tedious as shit to change this out. But like, it's showing you like how in depth the strategy level can be, the tactics you have to utilize. So it's not just like a straight action game where you just spam. You're good enough at dodging and spamming attacks, you're gonna win. It's like, nah, these enemies have attacks, so you're just gonna get wrecked, man. You can't dodge some of this stuff, or it's just gonna like you're not gonna be able to win. So you got to. I mean, you've got to use these other loadouts. Curious if Final Fantasy Remake will be turn-based. I'd be shocked if it's not turn-based, man. Wait, is there another quest in here I missed? Where's them? Oh, okay. Stop. Modders out there. The #1 request I have for Final Fantasy 16. A mod. You ready for this? Mini-map, please. Please fucking give me a mini-map. Not the select button shit. Give me the mini-map option in the corner. So I can move. I can keep moving while having the map. Or at least make the map be able to be open while moving. Something where I can keep moving while looking at a map. Please, for the love of God, add that. I need that so badly. Considering that this team made 14 and you can do this in 14, I'm kind of surprised. JD, man, what are you saying about their persona? Even if their persona was fake, their info was mostly legit? What are you talking about? What did I miss? You just kind of came in here. And I didn't see what you were commenting on. Oh, I don't trust Midori, but someone said 9 might be at Xbox's TGS show. I got you. Okay, I see what you're talking about. You're talking about that person. So yeah, I don't know. Like, what direction do you pick for Final Fantasy going? So do you like? It's multifaceted. Do you think it's as simple as Final Fantasy just needs to be on every platform going forward, and all problems are solved with Final Fantasy? It'll sell well. It'll be fine, and nothing else needs to be done. So do you think it's as simple as that, or do you think it needs more? It needs to not only be on every platform, but something needs to change about the direction with Final Fantasy. Whether you think it needs to pick a direction and stick with it, or something else, maybe it's something we haven't discussed that you think it needs to be. And if you think it's a direction, like that's where I'm asking, what would it be? Turn-based, remake, rebirth style, 16 style, a completely different style? Yeah.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't buy that Final Fantasy can't hit like 10+ million copies sold again. That one I don't think is it's in that spot again. I do think I do think they are it might take another entry after the like if they have a very good installment, it might take a little while to get there, or the sequel might get people excited because they saw how great the first. Like, think of Resident Evil 7. It sold pretty well, and it got people excited, but like it wasn't the best-selling Resident Evil. Not Village. 7, the one before Village, so with the Bakers. But it got people hyped, and then when we got Village, that thing sold freaking amazing.
Here we are.
Zelda was the reverse. Breath of the Wild, just like
Jeffrey, was it?
people were hyped on that forever. And then we got the reverse. Tears of the Kingdom was like, oh, still sold incredibly well, but I mean, I think it also suffered from it was like just in the same damn place. So doesn't matter they crafted the Sky or Underworld. People just saw it and were like, same game, exact same game.
Will this be enough?
This will do nicely.
Initially RE7, like go back in time when RE7 and like go back to the window. So like think of being Capcom's shoes and you're making decisions based on how RE7 performed. I know it's hard, but like go look up the articles about the sales it did when it first hit. It sold pretty well, but it wasn't like I don't think it was the fastest selling Resident Evil. But they were like, oh, we're very pleased with the reception, but like sales wise, we wish it could have sold a little like faster or better. But their things were paid off in spades because they also got like Resident Evil 2 remake. And people are like, oh shit, we're gonna get like third-person games too? And then like that 1-2 punch there of like Resident Evil's back, baby. 8 sales, blow you away. 4 sales, blow you away. I don't remember how well 3 sold. That's why I skipped over 3. And I don't really want to get into 3 because I know that's a divisive entry as well. But for the most part, 3 still largely followed the formula. And honestly, that's what Final Fantasy needs. And so, if you want my opinion, I think that's, and I've said this, I believe I've said this before, that's where I feel Final Fantasy needs to get to, or get back to. Like, you know, the PS1 days and PS2 days, maybe, where Capcom also had to go through this because they went through a period of kind of like struggling as well. I mean, it culminated in the 360, I think PS3 360 days where it's like, oh, some of our franchises are just not doing well anymore. I mean, we gotta do something. I mean, they brought back Street Fighter, but like everything else was starting to like fall apart. Yeah. I mean, 15, so okay. Let me finish my thought though about Final Fantasy. I think it needs to get to a point like what Resident Evil, what they're doing, Capcom's doing with Resident Evil, where we have like brand new entries that people are excited for, and then a direction with remakes. Because 7 Remake is insane. I do think they need to maybe find a way to remake the older ones. Not as crazy. And maybe 2D HD is just it. Like, at least for 1 through 6, it's like, just do HD 2D versions of those, man. And people will be freaking, like, stoked that we're getting HD 2D versions of those. And, you know, maybe don't go in linear order. Maybe drop, like, 6 first to get people go, fuck yeah! Let's go. Final Fantasy's back. 6 HD 2D turn-based glory days. And like a brand new direction Final Fantasy and like alternate between those types of games. So like a remake version like every 2 years and like a brand new Final Fantasy, and they're like top tier, like, you know, classic, you know, awesome versions that you want. Sorry, back to 15 because I saw you both mentioned Final Fantasy 15. 15 is a special fucking case, man. In my opinion, it's a special fucking case because that game had so much fucking history, so much fucking baggage, so much fucking people writing and dying on like what that game was going to be, that I think it was just, like the fact it happened. That roller coaster ride from the Fabula Nova Crystallis trilogy, with Versus 13 being announced, to like rumors of it being canceled, every like prominent journalists saying it's been quietly canceled, it's not happening, to the reveal of it with it being 15, to it also taking forever again after the reveal, to all of a sudden 15's now this new media franchise with Kingsglaive and all anime and fucking a big reveal event for the date and shit. Like Nomura like history, like it was just like it was like Square Enix, like 2000s Square Enix in a microcosm for that game. I know it didn't come out in the 2000s, but it was like 2000s Square Enix right there, like post merger, and it was just. Even if you like hated the series, like I gotta see this fucking train wreck. If you thought it was gonna be a train wreck, like this game exists. It was like Duke Nukem Forever. Like, oh shit, it's actually real. But unlike Duke Nukem Forever, 15 wasn't a complete train wreck and like abysmal. I didn't think it was great, but like a lot of people enjoyed it and were like, damn, this is pretty damn good. And so, yes. It sold well, and then they did an amazing job with marketing the PC version as well. Like that PC version was like highly anticipated as well, and then coming to like multiple versions, and then like supporting it with the DLC. And honestly, yeah, that was like a generational thing. Other than like 7, 10, and like 15 to me were like generational entries, where it's like. They had special conditions going to them. 7, this like, you know, just being wowed by this type of game existed. 10, first fully 3D, fully voiced one on PlayStation 2, huge deal. 15, I think it's hard. It's like basically as hard to replicate conditions to impossible to replicate conditions, and thus that's my argument for why 15 sold probably better than it would have if it had none of that baggage. If it had none of that history and baggage and just came out without any of that, like, that storyline that had so much personal interest, I don't think it sells as well. I don't. If there was no troubled development, it was like, imagine it was just like 16s. It took like 3 years from announcement to release, roughly, you know, maybe like a delay. There's one delay or whatever, but like pretty standard fare. Honestly, I don't know. But the problem is, how do you do that? Like, where do you start? Like, I'm saying 15. No versus shit. Like, no old Noctis classic CG trailer stuff. No, you start with, like, Final Fantasy 15 onward. Because, like, the versus stuff is part of that, like, baggage and lore that made it feel, like, special. That was, like, a unicorn that, like, we were never going to see. Yeah, and now there's still stuff of like Kingdom Hearts and like Nomura. Like, don't underestimate like that. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of factors that just like not contributed to like 15 being the phenomenal sales success that it was. And honestly, I would not take a lot of what 15 did though as indication of the future of the series, because I don't think it did a lot well, in my opinion. It did a lot okay, but like I'd rather them not try and go that direction ever again. I guess I'm glad 15 exists because we needed 15 to see the mistakes so that we can get the better entries that are to come. By the way, this is a modded sword. By the way, this is a broken sword. If you're wondering how the fuck I'm killing everything, it's a modded buster sword. You didn't see this yet. Here you go. Look at the stats on it. If you have your PS5 file, go up and you have the best weapon in the PS5 from the DLC. Go compare these stats. This is like 10 times the stat, I think, or 5 times the stat value of the best weapon. Oh, the canceled 15 DLC when Tabata departed. So I've heard that DLC wasn't canceled because of his departure. That was like the final, that was the last straw. That they were already kind of leaning towards that way because of like the performance of the DLC and the cost, that they were thinking it wasn't worth it. But I don't know. I've never seen any like definitive evidence of one way or the other.
Let's try and stay out of its path.
Remember when I said there were deadly beasts? Well, the shrubs in these parts are much better.
Only anything to mention is that.
Well, that's the undergrowth sorted. I'll take it from here.
Arden was the last one, right? I haven't played any of the 15 DLC. One day I'll play Final Fantasy 15 Complete Edition, the Royal Edition or whatever, with all the DLC and everything in the fixed main campaign, and see what 15 was like, kind of, you know, when it's in a better state. But I was just so turned off by the game at launch, man. Like, I was like impressed that it was not a train wreck. I was like, oh god, it's a competent game. Like, this is not bad. This is like an 8. But I was like, man, for the history and baggage for this game and what premises we were showed in the past, this is kind of underwhelming. And then, like, it felt like there's some parts here that feel straight up rushed and incomplete. Like, narratively, the story just was a mess at that point at launch.
See that? Doesn't happen to be a friend of yours.
It just felt, yeah, fractured. And I understand the DLC fills in some of the gaps. So if you play everything as intended now, it feels like a more complete, like, fulfilling narrative and good character development. And from people who've played it and, you know, told me, like, yeah, it's actually not bad. It's pretty good now. I wouldn't say great. I'm not saying great. I'm saying good.
Well, it appears we won't be going this way.
But yeah, I'm very curious because as I said in the past, I think Remake Part 3, its course is locked in. The budget for that's been allocated. And I think they have future plans for the Remake trilogy that I don't see enough people talking about. I don't see enough people talking about, like, when this trilogy is done, they're going to keep re-releasing this thing for fucking eternity. There's going to be, like, Definitive Edition. There's going to be, like, a version where they're all just probably combined together. Not just, like, the 3 individual parts, but, like, a standalone, like, them, like, seamless. Where, like, when you get to the ending, quote-unquote, of Part 1, it doesn't end. It doesn't roll credits. It just goes into, like, the next chapter or whatever. It'll just straight up be, like, the whole game. Like, I can see, like, and I wonder if they'll, like, ever redo it so that, like, the open world nature of Rebirth kind of, you know, I'm curious. Like, that would be a little bit more ambitious, but, like, this is the thing. They're not going to let this thing die. This thing is going to be like their 13. Except they haven't re-released fucking 13 as the definitive edition, which is kind of shocking. But 13, they kept making spin-offs and shit, like, oh, we're going to keep milking this and stuff, and we're going to make money, and then we're going to put it, and like Final Fantasy X. They put Final Fantasy X on everything. Final Fantasy IV, they put that on everything. Like, Final Fantasy IV and 10 are like and 7 are their bread and butter. Those 3 entries keep selling, they keep making ports of them, and they just keep throwing out there. Those have to be their 3 combined sales of all versions. Those have to be like their 3 best-selling Final Fantasies, with 15 in there, obviously, because of how much 15 sold. And 15, they kept, like, pushing forever and ever. But 7 Remake, I think, is going to be their most pushed game. Like, 10 years from now, you're going to still be hearing about another iteration of Final Fantasy VII Remake being put on some platform. So, like, the reason I'm curious why this doesn't come up, because in terms of sales, I think in the long term, this project is going to recoup its money and then some.
At least one of us knows these words.
So I feel like Remake Trilogy is a very special case. And it's, like, very premature to judge it on, like, things now. Doesn't mean you can't judge it, but, like, drawing conclusions that should impact the future of Square Enix's decision-making, I think should be taken as lightly as some people are making when it comes to criticizing it. Like, I feel some of the criticisms are a little, well, true or short-sighted. Hey, this feels like Final Fantasy, this feels like Noctis right now. I'm warp striking. Look at this. This is what Versus was supposed to be. Warp strike. Warp strike. I'm Noctis, guys. I'm so badass. Yo, where's the Noctis mod?
We did did what had to be done.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No. No, it doesn't.
I think 13 should get not a remake or anything. I'm talking about like being like a definitive edition for like modern platforms. Because I want it to be easy to play games. Even if they never like update 13 ever again, it doesn't get like a remake or beyond like a definitive edition or just a simple port to like PS5, Xbox Series X, and like Switch 2 or something. Yeah. It's just about like preservation and keeping the games like easily accessible. Kind of like, even though they're not the best versions, at least like getting the Metal Gear Solid collections are like, all right, well at least the games are available in some form going forward. So it's like, worst comes to worst, you won't like be prevented from playing them someday. What's the button for this? There we go. But yeah, I like yeah, I'm kind of curious like what directions you want. So we've been going off in like subtopics here, tangents, but the direction you want Final Fantasy to take. I mean, feel free to compare it to other point out other RPGs you'd like to see it maybe try and get closer to. I mean, do you want more social sim stuff like you see in Persona, where you actually have like relationship building and recruiting characters and stuff like that, like going in that direction? Do you want it to be more like strategy, like SRPG or something? Like go like maybe embrace like tactics? So by Persona, I don't literally mean the art style Persona or set in high school. I mean, think of like the social part of it, like where I guess like, yeah, you're probably talking about managing a calendar in your day and stuff like that. Honkai Star without the gotcha. Do you want like, I mean, do you want it to be like, go more like Xenoblade, which I feel like is like Final Fantasy 12-esque, but like with a better battle system? I mean, do you want it to be like more Tales-like than Devil May Cry? Do you want it to still have real-time action like this, but it's more like an arena combat with like Tales of, where you have multiple party members and it's combo driven? Do you want it to be more like something like a completely different type? Do you want it to be like a ARPG? Do you want it to be like Baldur's Gate, like 3? You want it to be like that style of turn-based? I mean, you want it to be more like, if you want to start more like Zelda. I mean, do you want it to go like? Does it need to even be 3D? Would you want it to go back to being like a 2D classical series, like where it's more like the old games? Do you want both? Do you want them to keep making new pixel ones and 3D ones?
This shouldn't take too long.
So much for your shortcut.
Oh, I forgot.
Still short.
He does the fake out.
Quite as quick.
Not that it matters.
It'll be a dark side quick.
I'm gonna kill this thing in 2 seconds. I forgot. I keep forgetting I have this sword, and I'm just gonna kill this thing in 2 seconds. I don't even know why I'm doing icon powers. Just hit it with the sword. So this, look at the damage. There's a event that needs to happen. So you have to let it get up. You can keep it locked down, I noticed, but like that glitches it out.
Aye, aye. Someone's got the up. Where he stops, no one knows.
Man, Sid's so good. Sid's voice acting is so good.
What if we killed him first?
Dead. Honestly, occasional new 2D one would be good. Remake Rebirth is definitely my personal choice. Well, my best, most realistic option future of this series is in between of Rebirth and 16. That's a good one. I was hoping for 15. Gonna be Xenoblade, but with higher budget, better graphics. So something more like Xenoblade with a bigger budget. something like Final It Is. They already have Octopath and Dragon Quest, so we don't really need turn-based. So Swisher, that, I mean, I've tried arguing that some games have come in to fill the gap of classical turn-based RPGs, and that Final Fantasy doesn't really need to go back. I mean, a one-off I think would be kind of cool, like for nostalgia's sake, but I honestly feel like, as you said, other entries within Square Enix are already doing it and doing it better than they probably could do. I think they could get away with a pure turn-based Honkai Star Rail. Proves there's a market for turn-based. Maybe reintroduce Final Fantasy Dimensions 1 as a single complete package and see how the Final Fantasy Dimensions? Which one was that one? Oh, Infinite Wealth's turn-based. By the way, you see that fucking pirate one? Yakuza pirate Yakuza in Hawaii? I have to remember Dimensions. Final Fantasy Dimensions role-playing video game developed by Matrix, who also did a lot of the 2D ports. They did like Final Fantasy After Years. Oh, it's similar to Final Fantasy IV The After Years. It was initially released as an episodic game, with the first 2 installments releasing in September 2010 on Japanese iMode distribution and in December 10 on the Easy Web distribution service. The game was remade for iOS and Android platforms and released internationally in August 2012. Final Fantasy Dimensions features 2D graphics and a job change system similar to Final Fantasy V. Okay, cool. This battle system is a variation of Final Fantasy series' active time battle system. The game follows 2 parties, Warriors of Light and Warriors of Darkness, with players controlling up to 5 party members at a time in battle on their quest to reform their shattered world and foil the dark plans of the Avalon Empire. In 2015, a sequel was released titled Final Fantasy Dimensions 2. God, why do I forget about this? I thought I saw... I need to watch a video of this real quick. Hang on. One sec. I gotta remember. I know it looks like classic sprite based, but... Sorry, gotta watch this. A walkthrough review. IGN. Oh, it's because it's mobile. Oh yeah, that's why there aren't as many.
Sonic Adventure features an elaborate job system, a 40-hour quest, plenty of.
Oh, the graphics do not look good. It's that like smoothed out, flattened look. That's not quite sprites. Oh no! I remember this was everyone's complaining about this look, and even like then some of the earlier ones have this. It wasn't like true pixel art, right? Gameplay wise, it looks cool, but like I'm just being sorely reminded of the time when Square Enix was really cutting corners on budgets. What do you say, Pulse? He said, "I don't want a mainline Final Fantasy to ever be like 13 again, where it's a multi-game saga. Why can't they just make a good new mainline Final Fantasy as a single game?" So let me ask you this. While we're talking about the different directions here for where Final Fantasy could go, or what you like to see, we were talking about continuity and keeping so consumers have their expectations met when they get sold on a Final Fantasy, whichever one it is that brings them in, they can always expect more of the same. Do you think that should extend to characters? I know you just said, because you said multi-saga. You don't want to see multi-saga, but should there be... so maybe it's not literally the same characters in different games, but character tropes, like the jobs. Should certain jobs always be in every entry? Should there be a white mage? Do we need to go back to having the classical white mage, black mage, paladin, stuff like that? And you expect you're going to have the job system in every entry?
Clive, what exactly?
You okay with Sid? I mean, yeah, Sid, chocobos, airships. Okay, but that's not gonna win people back. That's just endearing things that Final Fantasy is known for, but doesn't exact. I mean, draws some people in, but I don't think it's gonna draw in a lot of new people. I mean, I guess a certain demographic got drawn in by Cindy, but yeah, you know what I meant. Oh, I don't have the Garuda shit yet. This is gonna be annoying. But why do you like? So I asked that question to my hero about the the team that made this game, about the battle system. Did they ever consider, like, was there ever a point that they had jobs that like Clive could switch instead of icons? You know, did he ever consider like we could have like a ninja, and Clive plays like a ninja or something like that? And yeah, Stranger of Paradise does let you change jobs in like a more like, it's not quite character action. It's more like 3D action. It's not completely Souls-esque, but there are a lot of those types of games in the 360 era. Like Stranger of Paradise is a 360 era game. Like that is a game that would have like done, like you would have seen every month on Xbox 360. Like those types of games. But yeah, I don't think in a character action game it would quite work as well. But what if we did like Rebirth? Like remake Rebirth's battle system. Because you kind of have that. Tifa's kind of the monk. Aerith is a white mage. Cloud's kind of like, I mean, what do we say Cloud is? Dark Knight? Barrett's Machinist. Tank, but like Machinist tank, or Gunbreaker? I don't know. Like he's tanky. Yuffie's Ninja. Dark Mystic Knight, kind of? Yeah. Red 13 is like, I don't know. What do you say? Red 13's unique. Not quite like anything. Sid's probably going to play like a Dragoon, I imagine. And Vince is going to play more like Corsair, actual Corsair Machinist, I feel like. Red is kind of like a monk. That is true. But his like flow style is so weird, like compared to like comparatively. And like he has so many magical based attacks too. I almost want to say he's like Red Mage. But like not like he can go in, like Red could go in with like melee combat and then hang back and cast as well. Not with materia, but like just their abilities. They have like, and then like, don't they like, wait, they have that retribution attack. So isn't that like Dark Knight? Or what job historically has like take damage and send it back or use it to heal? I mean, I'm trying not to go off 14 because 14 has jobs that can do that, but like historically in Final Fantasy, what jobs have done that? Warrior, Barbarian. Dark Knight. I was gonna say Dark Knight because that's in 14. That's how Dark Knight works. Red reminds you most of Warrior in tone and skill. You heal the party too. Yeah, he has a AoE heal. Most RPGs kind of have the jobs in them. We're just trying to classify characters into a role. Trying to stick characters moving forward into a specific job, and every entry would be restricting. So I don't mean like the characters have to be restricted to a job. I was just saying the jobs exist still in modern Final Fantasy. 16 isn't quite the one I would point to doing it, but Remake Rebirth, I think the essence of jobs is still in that game. Even though I mean, using materia, everyone could just be a caster if they really want. But I mean, if you're really casting, you want, Aerith because of Aerith's ability, her unique ability to put down that field. I forget what it's called. That lets you like multicast out of it and enhance your casting. But I mean, you work in tandem with them, so like they're more like it's these characters like a support mechanic that's unique to them. But functionally, they Aerith is slower, but like other character and Barrett is pretty slow too. So like they do have like some restrictive properties about them, but I think it's more about their physical appearance. Like Barrett's is bigger and hulkier, so like he can't move as fast. Red is obviously, you know, this very fast moving animal. So like they're the fastest character, but also then you have like Yuffie who could like teleport as well because of her ability. So it's like they're like the two fastest, and like a Tifa like right behind them. Whereas like Cloud's pretty quick too, but also has sluggish moments as well, especially when he's in his other stance. And then you have like Aerith who's very slow as well too. But I mean, we're talking about remake and rebirth, and remake and rebirth already like a set thing. Hey, Switch TV. But like, if we're talking about like Final Fantasy 17, could they just have embrace like Final Fantasy 3 or 5's job system? More specifically, probably like 5's, where you can master jobs and carry over and slot in attributes that you were rewarded for mastering them, and make like hybrid jobs essentially. And go back, like, basically, can they turn the essence of 5 into a modern 3D game for Final Fantasy? I know other franchises have accomplished probably what 5 has done. Nothing's coming to the top of my head, but we need Square Enix to do it. So it'd be kind of like nice to see that.
They're not giant lizards.
Doesn't this animation, isn't this gonna, because I have to do the cutscene part, right? Yep, there we go. You guys are going to teach me about the other thing. Here we go. There it is. Mash the button time! Keep mashing it.
Behind you.
Cinematic! Yeah, Square Enix has the rights to Star Ocean still, so I mean they could. They don't have Trice, but there we got the finisher. This is funny.
This time.
That dodging looked a little weird to me. The way Clive moved his body there, kind of looked like a little bit like a snake. Like, that didn't look natural to me. Midnight. I think Dragon Quest III is gonna sell gangbusters. Oh, this combat absolutely destroys Twitch's bitrate. I'm so like nothing you can do. PS5 version, we already went through this. The PS5, the particle effects, Twitch's 6,000 bitrate cap. It can't encode the fidelity needed for the fine detailing needed for all these particle-based effects. You're not getting that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't 12 the main Final Fantasy post Final Fantasy X that got the closest to replicating Final Fantasy V's whole job system? I mean, 12. Yeah, sorry, I only remember the Gambit shit from 12. The Zodiarc is so it is. Yeah, I'm looking it up. I just forgot. But yeah, it was. But I think so. I think the problem was 12 felt like an offline MMO, and I think how it was presented, how combat was presented to you, along with the nature of gambits, plus hearsay of people saying it was like it becomes an auto battler once you set up your gambits. You don't even have to do anything, like the meme about that. Plus all the stories about development trouble with the director and stuff like that, and I think it just, you know, and possibly like the setting as well. I think it had a lot of things going against it, even though it still sold very well. I think it's probably why they didn't choose to go forward with the direction, because I think how troubled it was and some of the feedback I imagine Square Enix probably got. Yeah, but I mean, I've always joked that in a different one of our alternate timelines in our own multiverse, Final Fantasy XII was heralded as like, oh god, this has so much potential. Square Enix, please take another crack at this concept, but like tweak some stuff. Square Enix could have had Xenoblade before Xenoblade, like with a high, like, but with a bigger budget. Like if 12 had gotten another shot, like 13 had been more like 12 but evolved, I think you would have seen something very eerily close, to Xenoblade. I really think you would have seen something very close, because also they would have probably like looked. I mean, at that point, 11 had been out for like over a year, about a year, or roughly a year when 12 dropped. So they would have seen like their own MMO combat system plus 12's combat system plus feedback. I think they would have implemented a cooldown system. They would have tried a turn-based cooldown system, which is what you see like kind of like almost in some other similar RPGs, even some of Square Enix's other RPGs that come out in the years since. That the cooldown system has been implemented in like single-player story-driven RPGs. I think we would have gotten like what Xenoblade is with auto attacks, an auto attack system that how you rebuild your cooldowns on attacks, and then doing like chain attacks with your teammates. Oh yeah, I think they were so close to that. And honestly, I think, you know, that was around the time, right? What was the year that hang on. What year Nintendo buys Monolith Soft? What year was that again? When were they acquired again? I always forget the year. It's 2007. So 2 years. So yeah, that was after Bandai Namco. So they were doing Xenosaga, right? They're doing Xenosaga over at Bandai Namco, and that not doing too well. And coming over to Nintendo and like, you know, being like, huh, they probably played 12. I bet they played 12. And they're like, huh, there's something here. But like, you know, I wonder if they've ever gone on record say they were inspired a little bit by 12. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been said or not, but like, I would not be surprised if someone on Monolith Soft was like a fan of 12. I mean, because it's also like set in like the world of Evil East, so Tactics universe. So I mean, I feel like, yeah. I also am not familiar with the Saga games specifically, like their gameplay. So I don't know if any gameplay elements in Saga are reminiscent of Blade at all. I actually don't know. I don't actually know what Saga's combat even looks like. I own all three, but I've never touched them because I just heard how bad they are. So it is completely turn-based. I thought it was turn-based, but I was like, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it is kind of like Xenoblade Light or some shit, and like, you know, I'm just being ignorant here. But anyway, the point is, like, I truly believe there's some timeline where alternate reality where Final Fantasy 13 in 2010 or earlier, probably 2008 or 9, comes out on Wii, comes out on all platforms, Wii, 360, PS3, and is very much like Xenoblade-like, and is heralded as like, oh my god, this is like the future of JRPGs are back, baby. Like stealing Persona 4's thunder before Persona 4 could, you know. Being like, oh, look, the savior of JRPGs, they fixed it. Remember that narrative in the 2000s about JRPGs were doomed and shit? Which, you know, a lot of that was found out to be xenophobia. Just, you know, some reporters at the time just being, you know, racist little shits. They just had a thing against, you know, Japanese developers. So they wanted to push that narrative really hard.
Figures up ahead.
But are they friends or
Yeah.
foes?
Which sucks because like people who are ignorant like me, looking like seeing like I got it like 2008 was when I started game trailers, but like that narrative started like a year or two before. Like it started, I mean, and it culminated with Final Fantasy X. But like I was seeing everyone else say it, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess like, oh god, look at that frame rate dip there when you come out of that menu. Sorry. Yeah, I was like, fuck. Like I mean, there seem to be some that are still doing well, but like for me, it was like Square Enix is like the flagship JRPG company, and if they're faltering, it's not good. But also like self-reflection, it's like maybe it was a changing of the guard. I mean, just because they're doing bad didn't mean like other companies weren't stepping up and you know, filling in the gap with like new stuff. I mean, that's kind of the trajectory that happened. Like Atlas and Persona, you know, took off, and it's like, hey, we didn't need that. I mean, Tales maintained their course through all of that. I mean, not, you know, they hit Vesperia in 2008, which is freaking amazing, and a good like the first HD iteration of that. That was a big, you know, win for them. So like other companies were stepping up, like Japanese or RPG makers were stepping up. I'm forgetting like some here, and honestly, just because Square Enix was starting to like, you know, get into a bit of a funk there, everyone decided like this is the end or whatever. And even like reporting on it like it was a meme, you know, was still contributing to some of the damage as well. So it's just unfortunate to learn that so many people were not arguing that in good faith. Like they had an agenda for that, and I was like, good lord, like, really?
Want?
You're just like
Welcome to
racist?
us,
I was like, all right, well, fuck you.
Let me know how it goes.
Which is so weird to me because I was like, don't you watch all this anime and play all these JRPGs and shit? So it's like, then why do you even play this shit if you're like racist? Like, what? Like, it was like, oh my god, this frame rate. My PC can't handle this. I'm sorry. Oh my god, my piece. So this is the stutter I think people are complaining about. I installed the CPU fix, but like I don't think it's working. I think my computer. I have an i9 9900K, so I'm thinking I'm just kind of borked here, unfortunately.
No sign of the royalists.
Or anyone else for that matter. It's too bloody quiet. Even for this hour.
I mean, I Xenoblade for me. So this is a great comparison. I think this is a great comparison. Let's see if I stick this or if I completely missed a mark. This is always a fun exercise. Xenoblade to me is what Final Fantasy was trying to do in that time period when Xenoblade first hit in like the early 2000s. Like it was what Final Fantasy 13 was like should have been. So like the Xenoblade trilogy is like 13, 15, and I guess we'll throw 16 in there. They're not a combined trilogy, but those three mainline games, because 14 is MMO, 13, 15, 16 compared to Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3. I'd say Xenoblade 1 and 2 and 3 eat Final Fantasy's lunch. They are clear. It's a superior set of games. And X could be comparable to like 14. Then like X, I mean, they're not. It's not MMO, but like X is its own set of thing. I don't really want to get into it because I didn't even play through all of X. But yeah, that's great. And the comparison I'm gonna make is back when I was in like a teenager. People were saying the Lord of the Rings trilogy is what they were hoping the Star Wars prequels were. Because people are so disappointed with the Star Wars prequels when they came out that they were like, God, Lord of the Rings, how I feel watching these movies is how I wish I felt playing, like watching Star Wars, like Episode 1, Phantom Menace. I just don't feel that like level of joy and bliss. It's like, this is not good. Like, that's how I feel about like the not 16, but 15 and 13. It's like, God, I wanted to feel what I felt playing Xenoblade and stuff.
What do we do now?
This zone also was notoriously had bad performance in on PlayStation 5 too, but this just looks really bad. Wonder if there's something I can do here. Let's take a look at the graphics real quick. Maybe I have to like bump them down even more. Should I try turning these down the low and seeing if it fixes it? Just curious. Oh, let's turn off all this shit. No, not that though. I don't think that fixed anything, dude. It looks worse. Oh my, this is not, uh-oh, what is this? Uh-oh. That didn't fix anything. I'm running at a medium. Maybe chromatic aberration in vignette? That didn't do anything either. It's still stuttery. Hang on, sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, my GPU is this. I don't know if you can read that. 3080 Ti. Let me boot up my precision real quick. Maybe I have to crank my fan up or something. Huh? What was that? I'm only running at like 56 degrees Celsius. I'll crank the fan up a little bit, but I don't think it really needs to be. It's not I'm not overheating on my CPU or GPU here. Wait, why did the game crash? Oh, fuck. Hopefully that autosave is nice. Oh, please, autosave worked. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just like we have console war shit, I feel like the Western RPG versus JRPG narrative got, like, looking back on it, it got fucking out of hand, man. It really got out of hand, honestly. And it was kind of stupid. Honestly, like, competition should be making things better. So, like, I'm glad that, like, you know, some Japanese developers said they were looking at what Western studios were doing and just, you know, wanted to up their game a little bit. But being so negative, I think, like, you could, like, there's a way to be critical without being overly negative. But it doesn't mean you have to be positive either. Like, here's the thing. You like critical but respectful. But then there are people who think, like, if you're critical and respectful, they think that's, like, bad. Like, what's it called? I've heard this phrase, fucking toxic positivity. Like, I understand there's such a thing as toxic positivity. There are situations where, like, just trying to make everything seem good and nice is, like, detrimental. But, like, I feel like this term is thrown around, like, incorrectly a lot from how I understand it. But, like, there are people who are like, no, unless you're being, like, harsh about your criticism, it's not real, it's not legit, man. You're holding back, it's not good. You're being, like, fake or whatever. And it's like, what? Are you even...
That sounds like a child.
Like, what are you even talking about, man? Does anyone else know if this area just run, like, this area always ran like crap, so I think this is a zone.
Right. To the church, then.
I was thinking about lowering the resolution, man, to like 1080 and see if that even fixed it. Like, this is giving me motion sickness. Inconsistent low frame rate gives me motion sickness. So this needs to end soon or I'm gonna fucking throw up. It wasn't this bad on PS5 though, that's the problem. Oh my god, what? This is an indoor cave. Okay, it looks like it's running a little bit better now. So I'm using the iFix thing. Oh, I think it's cleaning up a little bit here. Well, in other zones, it was cleaned up. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as this in other areas we were playing earlier. It's cleaning up now, though. So there's supposed to be a big fog in that area, right, or something? Because it's night. No, that's later. That's something else.
What is that thing?
Garuda.
This means what I think it does. And Sid has some explaining to do.
You better be on your way, Sid. Die.
That's one of the sisters for Garuda. Oh yeah, again, I'm using it. It's in the title. I'm using a modded sword because again, I already beat this on PS5 and platinumed it. So I have no interest in like legitimately playing through. I'm just playing through it to like see how it looks on PC, you know. And I mean, I know the story. I've played through this twice with cutscenes, so I don't need to see it again. I like this story a lot. I really did enjoy it. It has its faults, but like, love this way more than 13 or 15 story. Man, if it's gonna just run this badge, should I just like crank it up to max settings anyway? We need to get out of this zone, man. This zone's gonna destroy me.
Now that's settled. There's someone I want you to meet.
At this hour.
He's the owner of the tavern.
I kind of want to test this. Can I see? Give me a sec. Sorry, I know you're gonna get annoyed with this. Just give me a sec. Oh God, why does the map take 10 years to load still? That frustrates me. We're gonna try this. Oh, we're gonna lower this son of a gun. All right, ready? Brace yourselves. See how the performance is. 720, baby. Switch here, it's switch, baby. It's still stuttering. Switch. It's a little switchy, as Huber would say, right?
Any friend of the innkeeper is a friend of mine.
It's a little switchy.
Keep fighting the good fight.
I don't know. What do you think? Is this running any better? This is 720. Is this running any better? You guys have better trained eyes than me, so let me know.
May the mothers.
Let's see if this thing really works.
I'm just running around so you can see it running around.
Oi.
Remember, this is a different engine than what Rebirth will be on, just as a heads up. I think it actually will play better on PS5 Pro, but they gotta make that patch for it, right? It just won't apparently won't inherently run better out of the gate. Someone was saying. Oh God, it's over there. I'm going the wrong direction because I'm looking at a small window right now because it's 720 on my 1440p monitor. So like I'm legitimately like I can't see shit. So I apologize. I'm just running around aimlessly here. All right, here's one.
Bloody cowards! Setting upon us after dark!
Okay, I imagine it will run better on Pro. I guess, like, does anyone have watched other people or seen reports of people who have, like, 4090s? If you have a 4090 and, is it a 7800 X3D, the AMD CPU, the best one for gaming, that 3D one, the 7800 whatever. Anyone who has a 4090 and that, are they still experiencing frame dips like this in certain areas? I'm kind of curious. And at lower resolutions like this is what's shocking. This is 720. It was really bad on Max's setup. Shit. Damn, that's not good. That's not a good sign. Well, this zone was notoriously bad on PS5 too. So I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible to see if it cleans up. Yeah, Lost Wing is just always on PS5. I hated coming to Lost Wing. It was like Stutterfest 99 here, man.
The road south then.
Well, I have variables set up though, so let's go back. This is not really doing anything, so let's go back to borderless. Yes. See if there's anything I should change though. VSync we're not touching. Super resolution. Oh, should I change the super resolution option maybe? Because I know like at 14, we're supposed to be using AMD FSR because there's a glitch right now of DLSS 3. Also, did I read something that said that I need to download this file or something? I saw someone in a thread saying this has to be replaced because it's problematic or something right now, and you need a different one. Is not as good as picking a setting like a balance or quality and upscaling. Let's try this. Let's see what happens.
I know of another shortcut. You should be so lucky.
This looks worse. This looks way worse. This looks way worse. This looks way worse. Okay, no. So let's try, let's try upscaling. Which one should we try? The lower we go, the smoother it's supposed to play, but the shittier it's gonna look. Like image quality is gonna go down, but like it should run closest to right. So like try balance maybe. We'll start with balance. What the fuck? What did they say was good? Try that. I think this series is fucked. I'm just gonna go with that idea. This is not worth it. Oh, this is the wrong way. This is down. So that's what I'm saying. There's a thing that said people were saying you have to replace your file for the DLSS. So I kind of want to like check that out actually. Was it Resetter that was what people were saying, or was it somewhere else? I'm trying to remember where people were saying. Do any of you know about that or no? Can I look it up real quick then? Let me take a look. Final Fantasy 16 PC performance red. Let's find the DLSS. All right, here we go. Page 1. All right. With DLSS, hang on, blah, 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 because DLSS ate your dog or something. That's someone else. Hang on. Trying to find 1440p DLSS balance with frame gen. I'm getting 90 to 120 frames depending on what's going on. Other than some minor stutters and cutscenes being 30%, this feels really nice. Oh, this is from Tuesday. Sorry. How are people getting these high frame rates? What? I don't believe this. It's not a good idea to disable depth of field. Uh-oh. That's what one of the fixed things does. Oh, that's not what's causing the stuttering. Hang on, I'm reading some stuff here. Had weird issues with the mod last night. Played with the game a couple hours, was fine. Played another for a bit, came back with this, and when I launched it, got a pop-up about something related to the mod. I just clicked out of it. I was tired. Cutscenes were back to being 30 frames. Guess I'll have to reinstall the mod tonight and try it again. That was this morning, though. Oh, hang on. What is this? Starting to get to the daily routine of checking for update for Lyle's fix. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, this is okay. So I need to update DLSS.dll and use lyall fix. So which one is this? Is this their fix? Hang on. FF16. Let me make sure that's the one I have. Yeah, so I have this person. Okay, I have this. I have this installed right now. Fix startup resolution to being scaled to 69. Fix cursor lock not working in borderless. Added resizable window options for window mode. That's what I got. Okay, download the file marked. Okay, okay. So what is this? Okay, thanks Racer Pros. I need a good link for this DLSS though. And let me see if I can find this. Uh, 2 months ago. Download tech power up. Here we go. So this download provides various versions of A&D's DLSS for download. Now, what do I do with it when I download it? I guess is my question. Yeah. What? So 3.7.20. Let me get that. 3.7.20. Downloading now. All right, downloading. Let me save and let me exit the game real quick. Sorry, so we don't fuck with this while we have the game going. Return to desktop. Sorry, I'll give you a. Hang on, save. Let me throw something on here real quick for you guys. One sec. Here, so you at least have a graphic while I'm talking. Sorry, so you're not looking at a blank screen. Hang on. All right, so it's downloaded. You have to put it in the game folder. Okay. All right. Let's extract this into. Well, let me open the game folder. It's in C, program files, x86, Steam, right? Steam apps, common, Final Fantasy 16. So just in the root folder. So there's the D3, D12 data, AMD Fidelity. I don't see a DLSS in here at all. Oh wait, NVGN. Yep, I see it. Okay, so I just replaced this file. Yes, and overwrite. Okay, here we go. Replace file and destination. Done. All right. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to relaunch the game, everyone. Here we go. We're coming back. Let me go back to main here. It's going to come back in just a second. I don't know if this will do anything. It's at least worth trying because this is crazy how bad this area is. Right. PC and the fans are revving up right now. All right, they're cooling off. Wait, why are you not seeing the game? Okay, there it is. All right, continue. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. We gotta set everything back though, real quick. Before we do anything. Oh, this menu is going really slow though. That's not a good sign. Okay. So this is what I should go with this. DLA instead of dynamic resolution. Like Digital Foundry said this one was pretty good. So I should probably try and stick with this if I can. We'll leave everything set to medium for now. Just to see if it even like improves at all. We'll leave everything at medium. And then we're in borderless 60 frames 1440p with VSync. Slower but look good. Let's just try it. Let's just see.
Come back to me, my darling.
Don't think it looks any better. I don't think it looks any better. Okay, let's try other options. Just for funsies. I just turned this back on. Oh, that kind of slight improvement. Okay, slight improvement. This is a slight improvement now. This is definitely a slight improvement. Dynamic resolution is a slight improvement. Slight improvement. What is the FPS counter on NVIDIA again? Where is this? Let me bring it up. It is settings, hotkeys, open close display. Where is filters? Toggle visibility. No. Statistics overlay. Alt R. Alt R. I don't think it's working on this. Oh, here we go. FPS 27, 29, 29, 29, 27, 27. I don't think you can see this right now. Let me see if I can capture this real quick. Hang on. Give me a sec. Let me, I can change what it's seeing. Capture audio, SLI, allow transparency, capture cursor, capture third-party overlays such as Steam. I don't know if this works. No, you don't see it, damn it. Anti-cheat compatibility hook. I don't want, oh, that's for some other stuff. Limit frame rate. Yeah, hand. I'd have to do window capture for you to see this. So here, let me try window capture real quick. Let me go to studio mode real quick. Take this off. You don't see this yet. Let me add window capture test GF16. Not seeing it. That's window. I don't want window. I need monitor. Sorry. Not window, monitor. Where's monitor? Display capture. Sorry, display capture. There we go. Test 16. Okay. All right, you ready? Here we go. You see it now? I can't do frame generation. It's not. It doesn't work on 30 series. Something is wrong. Uh-oh. Shall we go back to one of these then? Yeah. In the menus, it's also low frame rate. Look at that too. Oh, and disable VSync. Oh, it's on this. Oh shit, did it not do it? Damn it. Sorry.
If the Royalists were looking to take the care, they'd have posted sentries to prevent any unwelcome surprises. At least I would have.
Well, you should know.
Wrong way, friend. The village is behind you.
Told you.
Let me test something real quick, chat. No. Is this the same thing that Max saw? The thing is, I watch another streamer stream like the Titan fight, and it looks smooth though.
Why take a stronghold they've no chance of holding?
When they've no intention of holding it. The king is up to something.
The king?
Well, you don't think they're acting on a whim, do you? This is one of His Majesty's cunnings.
Oh, do I need to get rid of this maybe?
And he sent his best to execute it.
No. Should got worse. No. Let me see if I have a driver update real quick. Oh, hang on. Since this isn't even working, let me, There we go. Whoa. I wonder if the mod is causing a problem. Hang on, because it just crashed and gave me a message saying the game was updated successfully. That's kind of wonky. What the fuck? The operation was completed successfully is what it says in Final Fantasy 16. Let me uninstall and reinstall 16 then real quick while we're that will get rid of all the mods, right? If I uninstall it and reinstall it, it'll set it back to the default version of the game, right? Or if anyone knows the list of files, I can just delete and remove the mod. The iFix mod. I forget what they are because there were a lot. Let me see if I have it on here still. Hang on. I know you're looking at a blank screen. Give me one sec. iFix. Where is it? 16 fix. Where is it? Damn it. Where is it? Also could be the mod I'm running. Could be like the Buster Sword mod could be fucking it up too, possibly. I just realized it could be something like that, huh? Anyway, NVIDIA drivers. Let's take a look. Drivers installed, released September 10th, 2024. GeForce game driver. So there's no new driver. So my GPU driver is up to date. Here, I'm gonna look at the files in this real quick. Extract to games folder. Hang on. I'm gonna try this real quick. Give me a sec. All right, open games folder, manage, browse local files. Oh, these fix files are old, I think. Nope, they're new. They're the same fix files. Okay, so ultimate AST loader license, get rid of that. Get rid of fix, and input 8 DLL. Okay, now let's reload Final Fantasy. Okay. I basically deleted the... I didn't delete the sword mod, but I deleted the fixes. I deleted the fixes. Like the cutscenes will be back capped to 30 again. Yeah. So it's back to the default. Other than my sword. And then if this doesn't change anything, I might get rid of the sword and see what happens. No. GPU is at 99, 100%. CPU at, yeah. It's still pretty low. I don't know what to think.
What are the royalists thinking? Why take a stronghold they've no chance of holding?
I don't think the sword with broken stats is breaking the frame rate, though. I don't understand how that would work.
The king?
Well, you don't think they're acting on a whim, do you? This is one of His Majesty's cunning stunts, and he sent his best to execute it.
Where do they all come from?
Oh my god, look at this frame rate.
It's over.
I'll tell your lady, you try.
The menu looks a little, no. Okay, the menu is loading faster. I just put everything to low then, man. See what happens when we put it to low. And lowest resolution. I just want to see what happens. 5994. Alright, brace yourselves.
Carnovans.
Dude, the frame rate still, like, look at that.
I don't care.
Look at the frame rate still. What the hell? That's like unplayable. Oh, I want to try the higher refresh rate. Something, I have seen something that made it like, oh god, the game just crashed. Wait. Why is it switching screens? Oh, I gotta switch. Okay, okay, and then display 1. There we go. It flip-flopped everything. What the fuck? Give me one sec. That was insane that it did that. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm streaming on the same machine. But I mean, this is set to like 100, like higher setting now, and it's still not changing. I could stop streaming for a second and report back if it improves significantly. If you want me to check that, test that real quick, you guys will give me a sec. I think I actually do it fast enough that the stream won't end. So let me change this back to what it should be. It should be borderless like this. Yes. Yes. Mid. Okay. So give me a sec. I'm gonna stop the stream just for a second and then see if it improves. All right.